Starting to climb ever so slightly now. This pretty much should be it. Doesn't really go flat until we crest this climb. Again, just being essentially an ITT. Just got to try and pace this properly, which, not being a time trialer, I find really difficult to do. The only thing I keep looking at is, am I catching the person in front, just to make it a bit more interesting. And what's my power output? Because I know roughly what I could do sort of tempo wise, just to keep it ticking over nice and steady. But of course, got a reasonable amount of climbing in this course today, so it's difficult to know if I'm getting it right. It'd be much easier if we had other riders around us, like we would if we were racing on Zwift. So something which somebody mentioned on the last stage, so stage 2, was that second live stream with essentially no riders around me. And obviously riding these stages behind the curve of the actual stage when it goes live, that's not helping. But of course we do have the issue that RGT just simply isn't as busy as Zwift, and obviously predominantly the biggest chunk of my online streaming comes from Zwift. So a lot of my viewers will know me from there, and we comparing the two. Unfortunately, we're just not in a position to compare RGT and Zwift. A lot of people have tried to do it in the past, me being one of them, maybe a couple of years ago. RGT has about 15 to 20 staff, I'm led to believe, which is a lot less than Zwift. They certainly have a much smaller user base. And at a rough guess, I'd say they're probably about 4 years behind Zwift in terms of development. So it makes it very difficult to compare the two programs. And to be fair, they're not even trying to compete, really. RGT's going for as much realism as possible. Real roads, real physics. Zwift isn't going for that. Oh man. I wasn't watching that 7% creep up on me. Starting to get really uncomfortable actually on the bike. Still got 24k to go. Legs are obviously feeling pretty tired from yesterday's race. Villeneuve's read is extended a little bit. To be honest, I just don't feel that the legs have got anything in them. Put up a chase. That's the downside of riding on RGT when there's no riders around you, no draft. It's just head down, get on with it. Which it, what's it? 10:30 at night. Bit difficult. Get any consistent thread of motivation. However, if we didn't do it today, we're going to fall even further behind the curve. Kind of wishing I'd done my training session instead. Definitely not good that I'm suffering already. Still got 21k to go. And half the climbing elevation. Oh man. We're approaching the midway marker. I think it's safe to say we're definitely not challenging our friend Richie's time for today. Much slower ride than we did on stage 2. Obviously racing flat out on Zwift yesterday really sapped the legs. Still got 240 meters to climb. This is turning into one of these survival rides where you've just got to keep plugging away. Hey Darren, no, this is against real people. Unfortunately, there just isn't enough of them. So it's essentially an individual time trial. It doesn't help that I'm running a couple of days behind. Each stage stays up online for 3 days. So everyone else completed stage 5 today, but we started a day late. Then of course raced on Zwift yesterday, so we're behind. However, my experience over the years of RGT still tells me that unless there's been a pre-arranged start time for each stage each day, you're still going to be riding with not that many other riders around you. One thing that RGT could really do is introduce some bots. At least you can ride with other people. This is one long, lonely ride. If you go on to the, what's it called, to the, either the 8-bar or Canary Wharf circuits, there are certainly more riders, just nowhere near as much as Zwift obviously, so you're accustomed to riding on there. It's pointless trying to compare the two. But yeah, if you ride some of the smaller crit circuits, you do get some other riders. I've never entered into one of the races yet. I know they organise races. I'm not sure how many people turn up, so can't really comment. What I've certainly enjoyed with RGT in the past is just the fact that you fancy a change from Zwift, or back then I was mostly on Sufferfest. It's riding a real road, so head on over to Vaughan 2 or maybe the Lighthouse, obviously Mallorca climb. That's alright. So I've enjoyed it for that. Although, if you want to take away the boredom of indoor training, that's certainly why I turned to something like Zwift 4 years ago. I was fed up sitting staring at the wall. Obviously the social interaction the competitiveness when you're racing against other riders, or even just riding side by side. Unfortunately, RGT's just not got there yet, so it's sort of back to staring at the wall. Only difference is now the wall moves. Yeah, I definitely agree with you, Darren. I mean, as much as there are definitely things that Zwift need to get sorted for the longevity of the platform, they're head and shoulders above anyone else just now in certainly what they've done. They've looked at the part of the market which they want, and they've pretty much snapped it all up, and that's the social interactive side. And at the end of the day, unless of course you are a time trialer, then you get into cycling because it is social. Even racing is social. There's a lot of banter on the line, and even at some points during the races. So a platform online which sort of mirrors that, which you get out on the road. That's obviously what Zwift have done. So Vertigo, yeah, they did. CV Arcade. No, I don't think. I mean, I've not been on CV Arcade again for quite a while, but I've had a look a couple of times. And without trying to put anybody down, I don't see CV Arcade as a business. I see it as someone's hobby. All the best to them. I hope they do develop, but I can't see it happening. Oh. Still 160 meters to climb. Peloton now. There's a platform that I do want to try out, Darren. I've been on the beta request list for, well, since they opened it up, but unfortunately I've never been given a link to it yet. But it certainly looks interesting. It's obviously taken the gaming element to the nth degree, which, as far as I can see, is you're training, but you're racing against the bots, and that does look interesting. But just have to be patient. Hopefully, at some point, I'll get that link. I can try it out. I've got a feeling that possibly with my connections with Zwift slowed down that process. Oh man. The power's just going down and down and down. This is not fun. That's not good, Darren. Surely the whole point of beta is that you've got product that you want to test. Hey, Jonathan. You've joined me just at the point that I'm dying. Well, fingers crossed. I hope they get it sorted. That's true, Darren. I am barely trying because my legs are just gone. There's nothing in them. I'm struggling to turn them over. So this is definitely not a race. This is just hanging on to the end. Unfortunately, the end is still 15k away. I could have been sitting on the sofa with a glass of wine. Instead, I'm doing this. Don't tempt me with the ice cream. Hey Matthew, this is RGT. Used to be called Road Grand Tours. And yeah, my avatar is a little bit chunky, isn't it? It's set with the same weight as Zwift, obviously. I'm not sure if I looked that big yesterday. Maybe it's the pink jersey. This is RGT in the cycling podcast, doing a virtual Giro Italia. This is stage 3. It's not going well. It's just one of those days where the legs are gone. Obviously yesterday's race. Actually, speaking of which, how did you get on, Matthew, in the Fast Boys event? Matthew, as you said, yesterday was all about gaining points for the team, so I'm sure you would have secured something with that. I haven't actually looked at the placings yet. Looked last night, but obviously the very late race hadn't run, so I'll have to have a look on Zwift Power today once I've done this. Oh man, 13k to go. Oh wow, downhill. So, RGT Matthew, unfortunately, is way behind. Way behind Zwift. So that's the one we want. And quite often you can be riding alone. Although if you try some of their shorter courses like crit events, you can be riding with some other people. However, this virtual version of the Giro, obviously 21 days, 9 days, then a break. Then I think is it 10? No. God, my mind's gone. 12 days to the finish. And yeah, I basically, it started on Saturday. I did the first event, the individual time trial, on Sunday, so I was a day behind. And then, obviously racing on Zwift yesterday. That put me 2 days behind. And that's one of the reasons why I seem to be riding on my own, because everyone else that's obviously wanting to do it and keep up with it rode stage 5 earlier on today. I don't know whether there is a predetermined time for everyone to jump on and do it, so maybe if I did catch up, then I might get to ride with other people. But yeah, this is just brutal. It's an individual time trial, which I'm not very good at, as you can see. RGT, yes, it does upload to Strava, and being based on real roads, if you're into that type of thing, it will display the correct GPX information. So once this stage is finished and uploads, it will show that I've ridden in Hungary today. at that, cheeky little knee out as I went round the corner. I didn't realise there was a downhill section on this. I thought it was all uphill today. But certainly 5-10 metres climbed. As far as I'm aware, it was 600 metres today's stage. Now I believe when everyone else rode this on stage 3 when it was released, there was a virtual, what they're calling a virtual landslide. Something obviously went wrong. So the distance of the time section is only 31 kilometres. I don't know if they fixed the issue, whether the game's going to stop at 31k or whether I'm going to have to carry on to the end. I don't think I could actually pedal any lighter than this. Just one of those days, the legs is just not wanting to play at all. No, unfortunately the scenery doesn't change. So what they've got is they've got roads which they've created, which, so for instance, going up Von 2, it looks like you're going up Von 2. But what they've done with this virtual Giro is they've got a premium membership option, which is real roads. So you can send them a GPX file, as long as it's a point-to-point, no more than 100 kilometers, and they'll create the road for you. And it'll be based on the real GPX, it'll have the correct elevation. Upload to Strava, it'll look like you've ridden the proper road. But this is what it'll look like. So minimal graphics round about the route. Just a plain road, few trees. But it's all about the experience, or not the experience, it's more about the effort of riding a real road. So if you had a particular section of a race that you wanted to practice, then you could send it to them, they can upload it, and then you could ride it. But yeah, it won't look like it's meant to. It'll just feel like it's meant to. But yeah, they've got a lot of work to do. They're a very small team. But one thing that I do like, very nice option, is during this whole COVID-19 thing, they've released all of their premium content. All you need to do is, because it's free to use, but all you need to do once you've signed up, send them an email to a particular email address, and they'll unlock the premium functions while this COVID-19 thing's going on. And yes, Matthew, it is 11 o'clock. I'm absolutely dying, as you can tell by the very low heart rate and the rubbish power. Unfortunately, now that I've started, and of course streaming it as well, I've got to finish this. Route, and then we can get to bed. Oh, now we go back uphill a little bit. See if we can try and kickstart the legs again. I doubt it, but it's worth a try. Oh man. why I stopped pedaling, because I'm going to struggle to start going again. Hey Chris, I'm not sure I'd call it training, more like dying. No power, the legs are just gone. Heart rate's just stupidly low. Just nothing left. But yeah, busy day. Studio in the morning, or actually in the afternoon. So no time to train this morning. Studio in the afternoon, and then working from home early evening, doing some recording for the Bradley Wiggins Ride on Zwift. And then obviously kiddies time. So had to wait until they went to bed. Kind of regretting it. But 3K to go. Yeah, I should have. Hindsight's a wonderful thing, Chris. Should have taken today as a rest day instead of tomorrow. At least rest day, yeah, indeed. Nothing but a gentle little spin with the kids, which essentially is, a rest day, because little Noah's still in his training wheels. Challenge was to try and get them off him this week, but he's just not up for having it done. Keep plugging away though. We'll get him there eventually. Birthday in July, so the challenge is to get those training wheels off so we can get him a new bike. Oh, the finish line is so close. I tell you what, Chris, it's not fun, is it? There's a reason that pretty much anyone would not be training at this time of night. Stupid. But hey-ho. I guess that could be said about quite a lot of cyclists. Sometimes we get stupid. excellent. I remember the day when his big brother, he's 8 now. I remember the day that he took his wheels off. He hadn't really done much riding, to be honest. He'd taken a little break, he'd been having more fun in his scooter. Then he had a couple of rides, just sort of on the way to school. And then one day we just said, do you want to take these off? And he was up for it, which is quite surprising because when it comes to trying out new things, he's quite often a little bit shy, a little bit apprehensive. Yeah, took them off, and I just remember putting them on the grass and just, I was ready to run alongside him. Didn't need to, just, he was off. Good times. Now he loves his bike. Yeah, the challenge is to try and get the little one up to it as well. Hopefully it won't take too long. This whole lockdown thing certainly helps because that's the daily exercise. We get out for half an hour and just go out on the bike. Sometimes even they just go out on the bike themselves, just around the house, around the block. And I just walk beside them. 2.5, not off his balance. Oh, it certainly was, Chris. Very proud moment. The balance bike, Darren, it's one thing that I never ever got around to getting the boys. I did think about them, because obviously I've read all the stuff that says that it makes a lot more sense for them to build up balance rather than become sort of accustomed to the training wheels. Just never ever got around to it. Oh, I can see that finish. Believe it or not, this is my sprint. Hey Chris. Oh, leaf down on the road. Yeah, thanks for joining in. Good to have you here. There we go, roll across the line. Oh man. Chris, Darren, Matthew, thanks for joining me. This was not fun. $124. Wow. Ice cream time, indeed. Maybe even a glass of wine. There we go, 38.8 kilometers, 602 meters climbed. Rubbish average power, rubbish time. There we go. Anyway, as I say guys, thank you very much for joining in. I appreciate it. I appreciate it's late. But as ever, you joining in with the chat makes it a little bit easier for the ride. So thanks very much for that. But yeah, take it easy. Off to bed now. Take care of each other. Keep those hands clean. See you soon.
Everything makes total sense when you're next to me. Even if I told you I could never let you go, I'm not so sure you believe me. But if I mean to show you, I will never let you go. No, 'cause you don't see the logic of things. It's quite a lonely world that we're living in. Oh baby, you are something special, I'm sure. Everything makes total sense when you're next to me. You know it still hurts a little bit, but not that much. 'Cause if you want somebody else, who am I to judge? I've been thinking about you all the time, but that's alright. I'm starting to get used to it, think I'll survive. I met you in the summer, when you left it was cold. Said we loved one another, guess that we're wrong. I met you in the summer, our love was out of control. I've been going crazy without you so long.